video, we're going to learn about controlling our map making abilities using Python if-then statements. To begin, you're going to want to have access to your handout from lab number 8, Advanced Scripting, with you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to navigate over here in our Valpo courses, WeatherTech, notebooks, and we're going to want to use this program_control.ipynb file. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start by making a copy of this file. We're going to duplicate it. Then I'm going to take this copy and put it into my folder, My Notebooks. I'm going to rename my file here to be program_control_khg so that I know that it is my file. Go ahead and get that started by double-clicking it. We see that this is a relatively small notebook file. We're going to keep this video relatively short today. And then in a future video, we're going to talk about how can we incorporate some of these things like if-then statements into our map-making notebooks. And so initially here, we've got our first cell, bringing in our date-time module, just like we normally do. And we're going to use that because one of the reasons why we want to use if-then statements is that we can then alter the values of other variables within our notebooks based on some other value. So for example here, we might say that, oh, if we are within 15 minutes after the top of the hour, so after, say, 12 UTC, we don't necessarily have that data available yet. So if we were running our script, we would want our script to try to use the data from the previous hour or 1 hour prior. And so that's how kind of these if-then statements can help us. And so in this initial cell here, we are setting the current date using datetime.utcnow. And then from this variable, current_date, we are taking the hour and the minute and saving them off to their own variables called hour and minute. Then we are starting with this then if-then statement. If here is our keyword within Python, so it gets colored green. And then we're saying if the variable minute, which is going to have some value from our current date, if it is less than 15, this colon then represents then I want you, if this is true, I want you to subtract 1 from hour. This is a fancy way. Hour minus equal 1 is basically like saying hour equals hour minus 1. And so we're only going to go into this if statement if this conditional statement is true. And so what we're going to add in here, we're just going to print the current date. So print current_date beforehand. And then we got our if statement colon. Notice here that we are indented when we are within the if statement. And so we're going to do anything that happens in this if statement only if this inequality is true. And then we're going to go ahead and we're outside of the print statement here, print our hour statement. So if we go ahead and run this, we see that the current time that was taken from the computer was March 19, 2020 at 15:56. So that means our minute value would have been 56. 56 is less than 15. That would be false. So that then we are not going to subtract an hour. And so the hour that is printed is that still 15 value, which was given here. We can add a couple other elements here just to kind of test this out to see and make sure that we understand what's going on. And so here we're going to print our minute beforehand. And we see that it is now 57 since I've run it at a later time. But we could also set these to be hard-coded values. So if we set instead, we're going to comment this line out with our hashtag there. We're going to set minute equals 14. Okay, and we're going to see what happens with our hour. we see that, oh, minute equals 14, and then when we printed our hour, now it's subtracted 1 from the hour. And so if we also print hour beforehand, we're going to take away this minute piece. We see that we subtracted the hour because our minute now being 15, or minute being 14, was less than 15. We can add in a cell here and actually see what this might actually look like. And we can take this minute less than 15, and we see that we get a value equaling true. And so this is setting up that inequality. What if we go ahead and change minute to be 15? What do you think? Is 15 less than 15? Let's go ahead and run it to find out. 15 less than 15 is actually false. That's because 15 is not less than 15, it is equal to 15. And so we could alter our statement by saying, oh, if minute is less than or equal to 15, then that would be true. And we would then go into that if statement. And so we see this hour minus equals 1 is only executed when this minute less than 15 is true. Now we can do other forms of if statements. For example, if we wanted to change some settings based on what pressure level we were plotting, for example, if we were doing an upper level map, we could set up a different type of if statement. We could say level equals 850. And then we could say if level equals 850, so 2 equal sign here to do an equals, we're going to set our contour interval cint to be 30, what we would want it to be. But then we could say, well, but we don't always have 850. How about else if level equals 500? What would we want to set our contour interval to be in this case? And so here we're going to just set our variable cint differently. And in that case, we would want 60. And then we could say elif level equals 300. We want our cint for our geopotential heights to be 120. And so then we could print what would cint be based on the level given there. And so if level equals 850, we go into this if statement. It says if level equals 850, then set c equal to 30. Else if level is equal to 500, set it to 60. Or else if level equals 300, set it to 130. How about 120? And so in this case, the only one that's going to be true is this first if statement, such that we should get cint equaling 30 back. And sure enough, we do. So this has been just a simple introduction to if-then statements. We can utilize this within our notebooks to help us out, whether it's in helping us with our time element in choosing a proper time to plot data, or with choosing and setting different parameters that we can then use within our scripts or our notebooks. That's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about looping, another control variable within Python.